I'm Anna. Thank you so much for checking out this How to Make Better Grades Math Edition video that I have for you today. My mom and my grandpa, they are the real MVPs. They are the reason that I made mostly A's in math throughout middle school and high school. I will say in calculus, it wasn't the same deal. It was not quite as good. I didn't make straight A's in that class. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. I upload a couple of different kinds of videos. I upload videos basically all about that Christian girl life. I do devotional or Devo videos for you all. They are in my series #Dear Diary, where we are reading through the book of Psalms together, one chapter at a time. Those post every single Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. But I also do videos all about life in general. I have done like 21 ways to feel prettier when you're having one of those days where you just don't feel like 100%. I'm going to be doing a mascara for beginners video. Basically, any kind of advice or like help you might need from a big sister, that's what I'm offering here on my channel. Let's go ahead and get into these tips. Tip number 1. Don't use your calculator. And you may be like, what? Don't use my calculator? But the thing I've realized, and the thing my grandma and grandpa really disciplined me when I was working in math in high school and middle school, is that when you use your calculator, you're turning off the math side of your brain. When you use your calculator to figure out, like, what's 7 times 8? It's 56. You should know that like boom, like that. You shouldn't be using your calculator to do basic math functions that you can work out on paper. Because the more you practice math, the better you get at math. And if your calculator is doing all the practicing, you're not going to see much improvement. You're actually going to see a decline. Tip number 2, use flashcards to help you firm up your basic math skills. When I was tutoring one of my college algebra students, he was having a hard time with basic multiplication and division. You don't want to be in that position. You want to be able to know, boom, your times tables all the way from 1 times 7 up to 12 times 12. And you want to know it instantly. You want to be able to do mental math. So if it's 64 divided by 8, you should know that it's 8. And if you're not there yet, use flashcards. When you're in the car, when you're at a volleyball game after school, when you are just anywhere doing something that's not really like requiring a lot of thought, work on your basic math skills. When you can do it, it helps you to get away from your calculator and really start to learn the bigger parts of math, the more complex parts of math, instead of trying to remember, oh, what is 6 times 4? Tip number 3, use your calculator. I am not contradicting myself here. Here are the 2 good ways to be using your calculator. Number 1, for graphing. If you are in a class where you have to graph stuff, you need a graphing calculator. A lot of schools that I know of, they'll do a loan out program or a rental program where you can rent it from your teacher or from the school for like $15 or $20. I know they can get pricey, but you will need it, and if you don't have it to do your homework with, you're gonna have a hard time during the school year. The second way to use your calculator that is a good way is to check your homework. Go back through when you're still firming up your basic math skills like we talked about in tip number 2. Go back through your homework and check your math. Just check your multiplication, check your division. Tip number 4, use tons of paper. Here's what I mean by that. Do not crowd your homework onto one page front and back. If you have problems 1 through 27, odds only, do not try to create them all of that on one page. You need to be 1, skipping a line between every single problem, and 2, you need to have no more than 2 columns of problems on that page. And for some problems, you honestly just need to have 1 column. It depends on how much space you need to really work out the problem. Tip number 5, use a pencil, not a pen. Do not do your math homework or your math quizzes or your math tests in ink. You need to be able to easily erase. And if you do go through a whole problem and you mess it up and you are going to erase it, maybe you just need to rewrite that page, because the cleaner and neater your homework is, the easier it's going to be to go back over it and review it before a test. Tip number 6, you have to do the same thing to both sides of the equation when you're in algebra. Don't skip steps and mentally do the math in your head and not write it down. You need to write down every single baby step. It may be a little bit annoying at first, but the more you discipline yourself to do that, the more you're going to learn math like the back of your hand. The repetition and the practice is going to help you get better and better and better, so that by the time you get to the test, you are going to be like, okay, I've done problems like this and I've written out every single step, and I can look back over my old homework and study it, and I've done it so many times that I'm getting an A+ on this test. Alright, my next tip for you is to change your schedule if you are in math class with your best friends. Unless you are the kind of person who has a lot of discipline and isn't going to be tempted to just like talk when there's something going on, like, oh, so-and-so found out that this guy's thinking about asking her to prom. If you have that friend in that class, you're going to want to talk about that when those kind of situations come up. If you are in a math class by yourself, if this is at all possible, if you go to a big enough school, but if you are in math class by yourself, you can really focus. Get in classes with your friends that aren't math, because math requires you to sequentially, that means pay attention in every single class to build one step at a time. Also, if you can't change your schedule, change your seat. Sit on the other side of the room and just tell your friend, be like, girl, I love you, but I have got to pay attention in math. Next tip, wear your glasses or your contact lenses. Don't show up to math class and think, oh, I'm gonna take really good notes and not be able to see and be squinting the whole time. Tip number 8 or 9, I'm not sure which one, but somewhere in that zone. The next tip is, don't do your homework at lunch. Take the time before school, if you have to wake up in the morning before you get in the car, before you head off to do your homework, or if you want to do it the night before. But whatever you do, don't do your homework when you are distracted by a million bajillion people, things, trying to eat. Give yourself the time to calmly and clearly go through each homework problem and make sure you got it. That way you can also asterisk any problems that you weren't sure about, and maybe you'll have a chance to go and talk to your teacher at lunch and ask them, hey, I was doing the homework, and then they're like, wow, she actually did her homework before lunch. And you can say, I was doing my homework and I don't know how to do this one, could you possibly explain it to me? And then you're not gonna automatically get it wrong on your homework. My next tip for you is to have a binder for math only. Some teachers are gonna have really specific requirements about how your binder is, and they're gonna do binder checks and they're gonna tell you what your dividers have to be. But if they don't have that structure in place for you, here's what I suggest. You need a ton of paper and a 3-ring binder, and you need a section for notes, class notes that you take on the daily basis. Don't skip out on that. You need a section for tests and quizzes, and you need a section for homework assignments. You also might need a section for graphing paper or for extra credit. Next tip. If you need a tutor, hire a tutor. When I was in high school, thankfully I had my mom and my grandpa, but I would, at that point in my life, have thought it was embarrassing to get a tutor. I was like, no, I make good grades, I don't need a tutor. Look, it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you're a good or a bad student. Everyone needs extra help from time to time in at least one subject, and there is no problem at all with hiring a tutor. If you don't have the money, try to find the smartest and nicest person in your class and ask them if they will work through certain problems with you, if they can explain something. If you're in class and you're like, I still don't understand what this teacher is saying, look around the class and see whose faces look like they are clicking, like they've got it, they understand it, and then after class, be like, it seems like you really understood the quadratic equation, and I cannot understand it when Mrs. Johnson tells us how to do it or shows us on the board. Could you possibly work through some of the homework problems with me after school? Okay, only 3 more tips. Next tip is for you to utilize YouTube. Go to Khan Academy, K-H-A-N Academy. He is a master at explaining math, and he has so many videos that will explain quadratic equation, square roots, and he doesn't just explain math, he also explains some sciences. Second to last tip, seems obvious, but it's important. Don't skip class. Don't skip class in general, but really don't skip math class. If you have a doctor's appointment coming up, let your mom know, Mom, I need help to not miss algebra. I need to have my doctor's appointment at the opposite end of the day for math, so there's no chance you're gonna miss it. Because honestly, when you miss math, like I said, it's sequential, it builds on itself. If you miss lesson 4.2 and lesson 4.3 and then you come back for lesson 4.4, you may not have any clue about how to do that lesson because you needed to know how to do the stuff in 4.2 and 4.3 to understand 4.4. So don't skip class, no matter how tempting it is, no matter what drama is going on in your life, just don't skip class. And my last and final tip has to do with studying for tests. If you have done what these other tips have said, if you have kept a binder, if you haven't skipped class, if you have organized your homework assignments in order, if you have kept your papers neat, if you have used pencil and not pen, and you have really kept your homework corrected, then you're gonna be able to go the night before the test, 2 nights before the test, and you're gonna know, okay, I need to study for section 4.1 through 4.8. Pull the homework assignments out, and then redo those homework assignments, or at least read over the problems again. You would be surprised how many math teachers take homework problems or quiz problems, review your quizzes too. Go over those because so many teachers use them or slightly tweak them, just change like 1 or 2 numbers and use them on the test. And if you have gone over it the night before, it is fresh in your mind and you are going to ace that test. Plus, you're not going to feel stressed. You're going to feel like this buzz. Like when you get the test, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I have hacked this test. I did this problem in the homework like 2 times and I looked at it last night and I know exactly how to do it. So those were my tips for you guys. You guys are smart. You can improve. You can get better grades. Whether you have a 39%, an F, or you have a B+, you can get better grades. Even if you have a 100, you can get better grades because you can get extra credit, or you can become a better math student in general so that when you go to the next level of math next year, you are ready for it. You can do better in any subject. You just need some help. And I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please give it a big thumbs up. And I will see you guys on Tuesday with another devotional video. One last tip, ask God to help you to be good at math. He doesn't want to just help you like be more consistent in reading your Bible. He also wants to help you with the practical everyday needs in your life, like, God, I need you. Math is a struggle. So ask him for his help and he totally will. Anyway, I will see you guys, like I said, on Tuesday with another devotional video for you all, and thank you so much for watching. Okay, bye.